Welcome back to Don's Life, welcome to the channel. Today we're going to work with Extreme Online Store and install this 3-piece front bumper lip splitter on my Corvette C8 Stingray. But the reason we're doing it is not just because we want to do a simple upgrade, but we need to replace a damaged splitter that we have on the car. Let's go. So let me tell you a little story. It wasn't that long ago that Mrs. Don's Life and I took my Corvette C8 down to Las Vegas, Nevada, all the way from up here in Canada, and we caused some damage. If you haven't seen that video, I'll link it in the video description below as well as up here somewhere. But this is the damage in question. We cracked the front splitter, this 2-piece version that I had, and the PPF is holding it together here in this corner. I did reach out to Extreme Online Store and said, hey, can I order another one of these from you? And they said, tell you what, we have a new one we just released. We'd love you to do an install video. We'll send it your way and we can try it out. How could I say no? So that's what we're going to look at today. Let's take a closer look at this 3-piece version. So this would assemble just like this with the provided hardware. We have the screws to mount it. It will mount the same as the factory lip, as the lip we have on there right now. This one should all bolt up in the same spots. What makes this a little bit different, one, it's been wrapped in PPF, so you can kind of see some of the paint protection film covering the holes here. Not a big deal, we'll poke through those. But this one here is a lot more material on the bottom compared to the one we have on there now and the original one that I had when I bought the car. So installation should still attach the same, but it's going to be a little bit different because you got to go through these holes to get to the screws. But this should look pretty good. We'll compare the styling in a moment, but first we'll get the old one off so we can do that. Now that that's removed, let's compare them so we can see the differences. So I'm actually a big fan of the one that I had on there. This is the 5VM splitter. It's a 2-piece, so it's got this seam in the middle here and it's bolted up underneath. And then we have the 3-piece here, but you can see the biggest styling difference is it's a little shorter with how much exposed carbon fiber is in the front here. So you can see that difference. And then at the end here, when it wraps around, we get this angle here, but on this one you have the fin. This is probably the most noticeable difference, but this is what we have to work with now. So I think it's going to still look pretty good when we put it on there. Now one thing to note here is we do have an extra hole that there is a spot to put a screw in. I didn't have that on here because this is where the seam was, and this is also where it is bolted together. So you can see how it's fastened there. And I'm just going to flip this over so we can see what the underside differences are. If I flip this one over, you can see they look much, much different, but all the holes are still in the right spots. So let's assemble this one here on the table with the hardware that they give you right here, and then we'll install it. Now in retrospect, I probably would have put the bolt on one side and a nut on the other, but I was committed. I got it done either way. But I suspect that's probably the most challenging part. There's some close quarters there for a couple of those holes. I just like to do a test screw that's not the one on the very end, just to make sure it's grabbing properly. Then I'm going to try one on the other end and just try like every 3rd or 4th screw to make sure I got proper alignment. So you might want to use a jack or some ramps to lift it up a little bit, because I'll tell you right now, It is not as easy as it looks when you're standing up here looking at it on a table, because when you get down there underneath the front of the car, you've only got about this much room to work with, and getting a screwdriver or a tool in there and trying to line up the hole, not the easiest thing. Also, you want to make sure before you get started that all the little retaining clips, it looks similar to this one here, they're going to be on the body panels, and this is going to screw into it. Sometimes they twist or they're out of alignment, and you go to put the screw in and you completely miss it and it's not grabbing anything. So it's a good idea to make sure that these are lined up first so you get a nice, secure, easy connection. Now we definitely got to go outside and look at this in the sun, and right now my front lift is up a little bit. So let's get it out in the driveway, point it towards the sun, lower the front a little bit, and take a look. Okay, the car is in position now, and you can see they have a very different profile. If you look at this one here, the one we took off that was damaged, it slopes down, which doesn't give us as much ground clearance, where this one here jets out almost level. So this one here is almost level. When the old one is on there, it goes at a more downward angle. So this actually gives us more clearance, at least to this area here where it curves. Then it starts to slope down, and I'd say it probably slopes down more than this one does right here. So not as much clearance on the side, but that's where your tires are anyway, but more clearance in the middle. So I guess it really depends on what your needs are. But around here with all of our potholes and our terrible roads, our road's actually not too bad, but once we leave here, it's treacherous. This might be at least the safer way to go. Well, there we go, another install done on a front bumper lip splitter from Extreme Online Store. I'm actually happy with the profile. It looks good. The nose kind of comes to a point now, so I think we did okay. Anyway, if this is something you want to check out for yourself or dozens of other accessories, definitely check out Extreme Online Store. I'll leave a link in the video description below. If you like this video, hit that like button. Please consider subscribing to Don's Life, and we'll talk to you next time.